So you do everything for your cat, right? You feed them the best food, you pet them, you give them a great life. But what if I told you that most of the ways we think we're showing them love just don't register? It's because we're speaking human, and they're speaking this whole other language. It's all about these subtle signals and, ancient instincts.
I know, that's a tough question to hear, but it's one we've got to ask ourselves. Because here's the thing, your cat has been trying to tell you exactly what it needs, what it truly loves. It's just, they're using a language that most of us were never taught to understand. And this is so important. This isn't about you being a bad owner, not at all. It's just about this communication gap. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna close that gap. It all starts with learning to listen, but with our eyes. So let's dive in. Okay, so first up, we've got to learn how to decode these really subtle, passive signals that our cats are sending us, like all the time. These are the super quiet ways they're saying I love you and I trust you without ever making a peep. You've definitely seen this, right? The slow blink. Now your first thought might be, oh, kitty's tired. But no, this is a totally intentional signal. Think about it. In the wild, closing your eyes is a huge vulnerability. So when a cat does this to you, they're basically saying, I feel so completely safe with you, I can let my guard down. And the research backs this up. A study confirmed cats are way more likely to come up to someone who slow blinks back at them. It's like this tiny 2-second conversation that just means the world to them. Okay, what about this one? You walk into a room and your cat just immediately goes into this big long stretch. It's not because they have stiff muscles. Nope. Researchers actually call this a social stretch. It's a deliberate greeting and it's triggered by you. It's their silent way of singling you out and saying, hey, you're important in my world. All right, now this next one, this is probably one of the biggest misunderstandings between humans and cats. We see it, right? The cat rolls over, shows its fluffy belly, and our human brain immediately goes, oh, they want a belly rub, or they want to play. But in cat language, well, it means something completely different. See, that belly reveal is them showing you their most vulnerable parts. It is a sign of ultimate, absolute trust. But then what do? We dive in for the belly rub. And in doing that, we often betray that trust. A University of Lincoln study actually found that petting that area can cause a cat's stress hormones to spike. So think about that. They offered us this huge gesture of trust, and we accidentally responded with what feels like a threat to them. Okay, so now we're starting to read their signals. The next step is to understand why they send them in the first place. And to do that, you have to remember that inside your fluffy house cat is this ancient, wild programming. I mean, they might be living on our couches, but their brains are still totally wired for the hunt. Get this, a cat's sense of smell is 14 times stronger than a human's. 14! I mean, just try to wrap your head around that for a second. They experience the entire world in a way we can't even begin to comprehend. Their whole reality is dominated by scents that tell them who's family, who's a threat, and, most importantly, where they're safe. And this is why scent is everything to them. Your personal smell, it literally calms their nervous system down. So when they rub their little cheeks on you or knead you with their paws, they're actually depositing their own scent on you from tiny glands. They are claiming you. They're saying, you're part of my family. And hey, it's also why they love to sleep on your dirty laundry. They're just wrapping themselves up in the one thing that screams home to them. Okay, let's talk about play. Because this might be the single most important instinct that we, as owners, get wrong. See, every single cat is hardwired with this 5-step hunting sequence. But what do most of us do? We just provide the chase part, right? We just wave a laser pointer or a feather toy around like crazy. And that leaves the cat feeling super frustrated and unfulfilled. It's like, imagine watching an action movie that cuts off right before the final explosion. It's just not satisfying. So how do we play the right way? You have to let them complete the whole sequence. First, stalk. Let the toy act like prey. Make it hide behind a pillow, move it slowly. Then chase. Use short, unpredictable bursts of speed. And then, this is the most important part, catch. You have to let your cat win. Let them physically grab it and kill it. And to really seal the deal, follow it all up with a little treat. That reward completes the cycle. This one simple change will satisfy this deep, primal need, and honestly, it builds an incredible bond. Here's another one that's wired right into their DNA. Height equals safety. In the wild, the cat that's perched up high is the one in control. They can see everything, spot any threats. So if your cat doesn't have a spot like that in your home, a tall cat tree or even just a cleared-off bookshelf, they might be living with this constant low-level anxiety that you can't even see. When you give them a spot that's above your own eye level, You're giving them a place where they can finally truly let their guard down and relax.
All right, so we've learned to read their signals, we're starting to understand their wild instincts. Now it's time to put it all together and talk about how we can actively start speaking their language.
You know that kind of high-pitched, gentle voice you've used when you talk to your cat and maybe you feel a little silly doing it? Well, don't. A 2022 study from Paris-Nanterre University found something fascinating. Cats pretty much ignored their owners when they used a normal adult voice, but the second they switched to that soft, high-pitched tone, they became super engaged and affectionate. It's a vocal cue that just says, "You're safe with me." Okay, this next tip is so simple, but it is an absolute game changer. Before you reach in to pet your cat, just stop and extend one finger a few inches from their nose. In their world, which is all about scent, this is like a polite handshake. It lets them sniff you and basically give you permission to enter their space. If they lean in and rub against your finger, that's it. That's your green light. You're not just petting them anymore. You're asking for their consent first. It's huge. Believe it or not, one of the deepest ways you can show love to a cat involves no touching at all. Behaviorists call it parallel presence. It just means being in the same room with them, but doing your own thing. You're on your laptop, they're napping on the chair. You're not demanding interaction, you're not trying to pet them, you're just there. And what this communicates to them is, I don't need anything from you, I just enjoy your company. For a cat, that kind of pressure-free companionship is like the ultimate form of intimacy.
And here's the best part. When you start doing these things, when you speak their language, when you respect their instincts, something really beautiful starts to happen. You start to see these ultimate signs of trust. These are the special behaviors they only show to the one person they believe is the safest place on the entire planet.
So you might see something like this, the full sprawl. The cat is just completely passed out, belly up, legs going in every direction. When they sleep like this, they have switched off every single survival instinct that's screaming at them to stay on guard. It's them showing you, in your presence, I believe with every fiber of my being that nothing bad can happen to me.
But maybe nothing is more profound than when they choose to sleep on you. Just think about it. Sleep is a cat's most vulnerable time. For an animal that is both a predator and prey, the act of falling asleep on top of a giant, moving, unpredictable human, that is a staggering leap of faith. They are literally choosing you over their own hardwired, deeply ingrained survival instincts.
And this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? When they do that, it's not just a nap. It is the grand finale. It's the culmination of every single slow blink, every proper play session, every moment of trust you've built. It's the purest, most unspoken I love you a cat can possibly give. It's really the end of the conversation that you started maybe weeks ago with just a simple slow blink. So you see, your cat has this incredibly rich, complex language, and they've been using it every single day, trying to talk to you. They've been trying to tell you what they need and just how much you mean to them. So the only question left is, are you finally ready